You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Lots of good lines this weekend. This is a good weekend for football, actually, in the Southeastern Conference. The drunk uncle of the SEC football slate, Ole Miss versus Arkansas, that is this weekend. Georgia, Tennessee is this weekend. LSU and Florida, although let's all laugh at Florida a little bit. There's a lot of good football games this weekend, perhaps none better than Vandy and South Carolina, as far as the meaning of where those teams could go. But looking at the Ole Miss-Arkansas game, Ole Miss opened up with a 9.5-point favorite over the Hogs, who were coming down to Oxford. This is going to be an interesting game, and we'll talk about it, really digging into it probably tomorrow, is something like that. But Arkansas at +9 coming down there. Ole Miss scored 63 points on them in Fayetteville. They were really jacked up. Jordan Watkins set the school record for receiving yards. You had Jaxson Dart breaking Archie Manning's untouchable record. That was a big deal. This week, Ole Miss is only favored by 9 points over Arkansas. Now, if you look at the week 3 lines of going on, you got Wisconsin at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 18.5 points. That game is at noon on ABC Eastern. I don't know what to make yet about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I do know that you can't go off Louisiana Monroe in a game that they are completely jacked up to play because they got kind of out-efforted against Florida State. I don't know what this game is going to look like necessarily. So we will see. Wisconsin at Alabama is going to be interesting, but I don't know. Oklahoma is favored by 27.5 points at Temple. I don't know why they're playing at Temple, but they are. I like Oklahoma in this game. I like John Napier. Oklahoma looks to be a really good football team. I like Oklahoma in the Texas game coming up as well. South Alabama is at Auburn. Auburn's favored by 25.5 points. It is on the SEC network at 12:45. South Alabama played Tulane kind of close, I guess. But Auburn has not played. I'm not sure that Auburn's played anybody to this point. Now, Baylor beat SMU in a 48-45 double overtime game, but I am not sure that the Baylor Bears are any good at this point because I'm not sure that the SMU Mustangs are any good at this point either. Georgia is favored by 6.5 points at Tennessee. This is a game that's fun each and every year. One of these years, Josh Heupel has to get over on Kirby Smart. That's a game that Tennessee, if they get the W, you could see two programs going in opposite directions a little bit on this. Gunnar Stockton running the ball pretty well, but they only beat Austin Peay like 28-6 over the weekend. It's one of those things. Tennessee can be a hard place to play. It's at 2:30 on ABC. We'll see exactly how that goes. Louisiana is at Missouri. It's SEC Network Plus, and UTEP is at Texas. It's on the SEC Network. The lines haven't come out for those games yet, but somewhere in the 20 to 30 range is where I expect both of those games to be. Another no-line game is Alcorn State going to Mississippi State. They're going to be 3-0. The Bulldogs are going to be 3-0. Then there's the drunk uncle game, almost favored by 9.5 over Arkansas, hosting them. Game is at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. I like the fact that it's a night game. We'll see exactly how that goes for the Rebels. Texas A&M is at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 6.5 points. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. This is the game that Texas A&M needs to start winning. You know, we all make the Texas 8-4 jokes, and it's funny and all of that, but this is the game. If you want those jokes to stop, you need to win games like this. If A&M shows up and can beat Notre Dame in South Bend, you have a situation where Texas A&M is kind of becoming that team to watch. But they've given up over 20 points in both of their cupcake games so far. Florida is at LSU. LSU's favored by 9.5 points. It is at 7:30 at night on ABC. Florida was looking ahead past South Florida. South Florida beat them, and now we're back in the Billy Napier fired sweepstakes. Lane's not going to Florida. That's just not going to happen. He's not going to Alabama either, if we're going to be honest about it. But Florida is at LSU. LSU's favored by 9.5 points. LSU didn't look great against La Tech as well. Eastern Michigan's at Kentucky. I do not know what the line's probably around 12 on that game. Eastern Michigan lost to LIU over the weekend, by the way. That's the FCS school that Florida played in week 1. Had 50 points in the first half. Yeah, Eastern Michigan lost to that team. So we'll see what they bring to Kroger Field in Lexington. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. And potentially the game of the day in the Southeastern Conference is Vanderbilt at South Carolina. South Carolina's favored by 6.5 points. You have to figure home field as being factored into this. It's at 7:45 Eastern time. It's on the SEC network. I like Vandy. Vandy made Vatek absolutely quit in their game earlier this weekend. Just quit. They scored like 35 points in the second half, just completely just demoralized them and beat them down on their home field. Vandy did that. Vanderbilt did that. And because of that, I don't think we need to overlook Vanderbilt this season. Anyway, thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we are the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe me, Google Ole Miss Podcast and see how much we come up on that page. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it's absolutely free. Your support means the world to us. And another big moment for Locked On, college football fans. Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, who had a rough weekend, honestly, leads the conversation. Two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley and Locked On's panel of local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every single Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.